Welcome, Diecast fans. I'm Tom Spanners-Watson.
And I'm Frank Dagger Gibbs.
And welcome to another special round of the Outlaws.
That's right, this week it's the turn of the Outlaws to have a crack against the bought cars, and of course the streets are still blocked, so the tow trucks aren't able to get out on the track, and that means there's still some cars broken down around the track because we left them where they stopped last week. Let's have a look at who's left out of there.
Wow, so there's quite a collection there in Bogan Alley.
Is there what? And check that guy out. I reckon he's having a chunder behind the Diddy the Food truck.
Well, nobody ever accused the Bogans of being classy. All right, moving on to tonight's racing. First up, we've got Jezzar driving the Jaguar, going up against Dagger driving Dirty D.
Now, in last week's races, the drivers were alternating lanes, but the Outlaws are sticking to the Outlaws rules and they have to start on the outside lane.
And Dagger takes an early lead there. Dirty D gets in front of the Jag. Oh, but she goes over. Dirty D is down. The Jaguar just has to finish now. Of course, he could still get taken down by the cops, but Jezzar is feeding it some gentle in reverse and takes a nice clean jump and makes a clean getaway.
Oh, they're so disappointing for Dagger. I thought she had it, but unfortunately just went up the sidewall. I think she was just concentrating so hard on blocking out Jezzar, and then he makes a very nice jump there right at the end. So he talks up the first win tonight, and unfortunately that's a total DNF for Dagger, and she's stuck on the track.
Actually, what the camera didn't catch there is she got flipped just onto the side of the track, so she's out of harm's way. But next up, Billy and Summer Pan are going to have a crack.
Not a great start from the Outlaws so far. Hopefully Summer Pan can do a bit better and Mrs. Mouse in that outside lane.
The Cougars have been pretty strong, but it looks like Billy's taking an early lead. But Mrs. Mouse, with a burst of speed at exactly the right time there, jumps out to a massive lead and is storming away down the track, clean into Big Kahuna Corner. And a huge big jump. What a great effort.
But I can actually hear the other cars coming. Check this out. Back in the first corner, Billy comes across, clips the ute, and then gets Wildfire going again, gives him a bit of a push start, and that got everybody else excited, so they're all coming down and making a run for the cops.
And here they come to the finish line. Wildfire with a massive big accident over the finish line. There goes Billy. Oh my God, the hot rod plows into the cops. The ute goes flying, and we've just got the Corvette left, and he comes down and slams into the cops as well.
This was a great effort from Mrs. Mouse. A huge big jump and a celebratory barrel roll over the finish line. Nicely done, Summer Pan. And then look at Wildfire come down, just cartwheel down the track, trying out for the gymnastics team by the look of it. Look at that. That is spectacular.
Man, that was crazy. And then Billy coming through. Baz nails the cops. Jason coming through in the ute. And finally Clint coming down in the Corvette as he nails another cop. But he does a hit and run, so that's not so bad. But congratulations, Summer Pan. Nice win and a great assist there from Billy. The freshness, the tastiness of Pete's Farms peas. You can taste the peaness in every mouthful. The Outlaws up by 2 over the bought cars as we go to race number 3, where it's the Battle of the Camaros.
Radio Flyer driving Nighthawk there in the outside lane is an absolute beast, and I expect him to clean up the green Camaro here.
Well, it could be a tough ask from the outside lane, but there he goes. He is stretching out a massive lead already. Wow, he is keeping it clean finally down that second straight. Races down to Big Kahuna Corner, clean through that corner, and he's going to get a decent jump here as he does, and he bounces off the cop car, and unfortunately he ends up on his roof, so he's going to get busted there.
Yeah, but if you've got to go out, mate, what a way to go, and how about that frog leap off the cop car? He got almost as much height as he did off the jump.
Roberto, I thought, was going to make it away completely clean, but at least he didn't hit any cop cars, so he won't get busted. And even though he is busted, Radio Flyer does chalk up another win for the Outlaws, and that is important.
Is it what, mate? I mean, you can't have these cars just rolling in and taking down these custom-built rat rods. That would not be good manners at all.
Next up for the Outlaws is Daddy G driving Ratbird. He is going up against Kenny G driving the Audi rally car.
Okay, as far as bought cars go, I think a rally car is probably stretching a bit.
Well, speaking of stretching, Kenny G and the Audi are stretching out quite a lead over Daddy G and Ratbird there. He flicks it sideways into Petrol Head Corner, but he overcompensates. He's now going in reverse into Big Kahuna Corner. He manages to get around there somehow, but he's slowing right down. He's parked right in the cops.
That is not a good place to park.
And that's not good for Daddy G. Both of these drivers are going to get busted for hitting the cops and then hanging around. That is not what you want to do.
Yeah, nah, that plan's about as sharp as a marble. If you're going to hit him, you've got to run away.
Well, even though they both got busted, Kenny G does chalk up the win for the bought cars and brings it back to only a 2-point gap. And next up, we've got Paul B driving the Sierra from the Sierra Showdown, and he's going up against Baby Cookie from Junkyard Joust, driving curbside.
2 Fords on the track, all the spectators need to stand back.
I think the Sierra's okay, but the Mustang's definitely dodgy.
Crikey, that Sierra's quick. Was he got an extra shot of NOS in there or something?
Well, here comes Baby Cookie. Looks like she tried to duck up the inside, but cut it a little bit too steep and ended up clipping the apex of the corner. The Sierra out with a massive lead here, not going to slow down, and both drivers there with a huge leap over the roadblock.
The Sierra seems to get a bit of a tail kick there, nosed it in, but kept the car under nice control. And look at Baby Cookie. Could have gone horribly wrong, but she kept it under control really nicely, and both drivers get away clean. But congratulations to Paul B driving the Sierra, nice win. And that closes the gap down to 1 point now.
Worrying times for the Outlaws. Can Vagabond, driven by Big Mac, beat out Junior in the Ford Escort?
Junior doesn't stand a chance, mate. He's going up against Vagabond, and Vagabond's got those sweet-ass flames. The only thing that could make Vagabond any quicker is if it was red as well.
Well, Vagabond out to an early lead, but the Escort keeping up with him. He starts to stretch out a bigger lead as he heads into Petrol Head Corner, holds it clean through Big Kahuna Corner, and down he goes, a nice jump. And even though they both crashed, they didn't hit any cop cars, so they will get away clean.
I told you Vagabond would win. Say it with me, people. It's not the same without the...
Who are you talking to, Frank?
Clearly the audience. I'm waiting for them to fill in the blank.
Yeah, but that only works for the live audience.
Well, if they're watching this, they're clearly not dead.
Not what I mean. I was talking about a studio audience.
Well, okay, then put your hand up if you said flame.
Still doesn't work with viewers. All right, next up, we've got Sid 2 driving the Skyline GTR, going up against Mr. Dark and another Cougar.
At least Sid Jr. seems a little bit calmer than his dad.
Long-time Outlaws viewers will know what happened to Sid's dad.
But it looks like Junior drives just as aggressively. Look at that cornering technique through Bogan Alley.
That was an incredibly tight line through the apex. We've only seen one other driver take it like that before. Oh, and a clean drift through Big Kahuna Corner, and Sid comes down to take the win, but he is busted by the cops as he parks on them. But Mr. Dark is off with a clean run there.
Let's take another gander at Sid Jr.'s line through Bogan Alley here. Look at that, right tight to the apex, clean on the exit, a nice run there, and Mr. Dark slowed right down. At least he manages to keep going, and a sweet drift here in the GTR through Big Kahuna Corner as well.
But after driving like that, I was expecting something more impressive than driving over the bonnet of 2 cop cars and then hanging around to get arrested. That's ridiculous.
Well, not for Mr. Dark. Look at this. Comes in reverse and then bounces off to spin around in the right direction and makes a clean getaway. What a champion run, even though he lost.
So that is going to tighten the scores up again. It's 9-8. The built cars only just holding out the bought cars. Next up, we've got Jeff Speed driving the Honda Civic, going up against Hawthorne Sung driving Munted.
Well, that Civic is rocking the VTEC power, yo. So it could be quite a challenge for Munted, but don't write Munted off just yet.
So Jeff Speed out to an early lead here. Munted closes right up on his tail through Bogan Alley. Goes up the inside, beautiful overtake, but he goes sideways. Jeff Speed gets around him again. Here comes Munted into Big Kahuna Corner, gets around him on the exit to Big Kahuna Corner, takes the win. What a champion run.
Wowzers, what a lot of back and forth here. A great job from Munted to catch right up onto his bumper, drafts him into the dog league, and then look at this overtake. Unfortunately, just clipped the wall that threw him sideways. Jeff Speed sees him spinning around, cuts to the outside as they go past Dagger parked up in the background, and then as we go into Big Kahuna Corner here, Jeff pulls off a very tasty drift, very nice and clean, but Munted slips through the gap at the back of the car, and that throws Jeff Speed out, and Munted comes down for a well-deserved win. What a brilliant back and forth race and a clean getaway.
That was just a fantastic race. What a brilliant job from Hawthorne Sung there. Munted doing the business and takes it back to a 2-point lead.
Now one of my all-time favourite vehicles, the Holden SS V8U, driven by James C, going up against Rubber Toe driving the Baroness.
I'd expect quite a battle between these two. Rubber Toe is super fast on this track, but James C in that purple ute is not to be trifled with as they go door to door into Bogan Alley, nose to nose on the exit to Bogan Alley. Rubber Toe comes down, gives James a slam in the side. James holding on to the lead at the moment. They both clear the Civic, and a huge big leap from both drivers here. I think they both cleared the intersection.
Another good battle here. Unfortunately, Rubber Toe just couldn't find the space to get around James there. James managed to fill the whole track with the ute, and then look at this jump. That is just a superb jump from the Holden and a very tasty jump in reverse from Rubber Toe.
That was a crazy amount of air.
I think James has had the sweetest jump so far. It's so good it'd put a horn on a jellyfish. And in fact, it was so good that this Bogan dude fell off his chair. Check that out.
It's good to see the Bogans enjoying some good car stunts.
Maybe we should let the Bogans loose on the track again. Leave us a comment if you want to see the Bogans have at the track.
That was an incredibly impressive jump from both drivers. Both of them managed to get both wheels fully through the intersection before they touched down. But congratulations to James C. He closes it back up to a 1-point lead, and it all comes down to Danny and Kit Kayam. Whoever wins this could either force a race off, or it's a win for the Outlaws. Who's it going to be?
Both these boys are going to have to be going flat out like a centipede skipping if they want to take it out.
Danny in the Evo with an early lead, but Kit is right on his tail, keeps tied to the bumper as they exit Bogan Alley, but Kit goes sideways through the exit of the second dogleg. Danny out with a big lead now, but Danny goes sideways. He knocks the Civic loose. Kit comes through, gets through the intersection, takes a win, and Danny coming in last and nailing the cops, and unfortunately parks up right next to him, so he is going to get busted.
Kit very lucky there. They were super tight going through Bogan Alley, but he lost it in the exit to the second dogleg. Looked like he went up high to get some extra speed, but he couldn't control it. Just like Danny couldn't control the car as he entered Big Kahuna corner. The Civic technically takes the win, but he wasn't in this race, so it doesn't count. Kit will take the win, and Danny comes through and just plows into the cop, who clearly forgot to put his handbrake on because his car just rolled away. Maybe that'll keep him busy enough for Danny to make a getaway.
Well, that cop might have been busy, but the others weren't, so Danny gets busted. Kit takes the win, and clean getaway, and that brings the total score to 11 for the built cars, 9 for the bought. The Outlaws do it again.
Man, that was so much fun. I'm really looking forward to next week.
Wait, what? What's next week?
I've got a little something planned.
Oh, good. A Frank special. They've always gone well.
Don't pretend you don't love it.
All right, that's enough for tonight. Thanks very much for watching. I'm Tom Spanners Watson. He's Frank the Guru Gibbs. We look forward to seeing you next time.